Have you ever noticed how some women look breathtaking at first glance? Am I elegant, stylish, magnetic? But the moment they open their mouths, everything falls apart. It's like beauty created an expectation of depth. But what comes out is emptiness. You feel it. Not in your mind, in your nervous system. Something inside twists, whispers, "Wait, something is off here." But most men ignore that voice. Why? Because beauty is hypnotic. It triggers instinct before logic. It makes you forget to evaluate. Men get distracted by how she looks when she walks, the softness of her voice, the flirt in her eyes, the curve of her silhouette, the attention she gives, and that attention is dangerous. Because attention feels like approval. It feels like significance. It feels like you matter. So men fall for appearance and completely overlook behavior. And that, right there, is how men get destroyed. See, men have been taught for generations to chase beauty. But the Stoics warned us long before the modern age of filters, makeup, and Instagram validation. Not everything that shines is gold. Some things shine only to blind you. There are women who shine to attract, but they do not shine to nourish. They shine to be worshipped, not to be understood. They shine to be chosen, not to deserve choosing. And this is where the tragedy begins. Because the most dangerous person in your life is not your enemy. It's the wrong woman, the one you let inside your mind, inside your heart, and inside your daily thoughts. The wrong woman will not destroy you with knives, fights, or explosions. She destroys you with doubt, distraction, emotional instability, psychological pressure, attention games, and most of all, inconsistency. She does not break your body, she breaks your focus. And when a man loses his focus, he loses his mission. And when he loses his mission, he loses himself. You see, a man's life is not defined by the women he dates. It is defined by the direction he walks. But a foolish woman can pull him off his path without him even realizing it. She does it slowly. A complaint here, a guilt trip there, emotional storms whenever you choose growth instead of her. Until one day you look in the mirror and see a man who stopped advancing, a man who lost his edge, a man who became soft, not by peace but by emotional exhaustion. So today, I'm not here to flatter you. I'm not here to sugarcoat life. I'm not here to tell you all women are queens because that is delusion. I'm here to show you how to protect your mind, your purpose, and your future. Because in reality, there are two types of women. A woman who multiplies your life. She brings peace, clarity, and alignment to your mission. A woman who drains your life. She brings chaos, confusion, and emotional instability. We're talking about the second one today. These are 5 signs of a foolish woman, the kind of woman who will waste your time, drain your energy, blur your purpose, and lock you into mediocrity. Not all women, just the ones men must stay away from, because wisdom has nothing to do with beauty. A woman can look like a goddess, but have the emotional maturity of a child. She can post quotes about self-love, but crumble the moment she's challenged. She can attract hundreds of men, but cannot keep one. Beauty attracts, but character decides who stays. So listen closely, focus, pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you is the difference between a man who becomes great and a man who becomes broken. Sign 1, she can't sit with silence. A foolish woman is terrified of silence. Not because silence is boring, but because silence forces her to face herself. You will notice something about her. She always needs noise. Not literal noise, emotional noise. She needs constant stimulation, constant attention, constant talking, constant texting, constant drama, constant social media. She cannot rest in stillness, because silence does something powerful. It reveals what's inside a person. When you sit in silence, your thoughts become loud, your insecurities show themselves, your patterns become visible. A wise woman has done enough self-work to handle that, but a foolish woman hasn't. So instead of facing herself, she runs from silence. And how does she run? Through gossip, TikTok scrolling, partying, drama with friends, creating arguments out of nowhere, emotional chaos, being busy but achieving nothing. Her life becomes a cycle of distraction, burnout, distraction, burnout. Let me give you a story, not to entertain you, but to make this real. The girl who feared stillness. In Los Angeles, there was a guy named Ethan. Focused, disciplined, clear direction. He wanted to build something real in life. Then he met her. Sophia. She was gorgeous. Perfect face, eyes that could melt steel, the kind of girl men compete for. And at first, Ethan felt lucky. But soon patterns began to show. Whenever Ethan suggested a quiet night at home, she said, "That's boring." Whenever he tried to meditate or journal, she'd interrupt, "Why are you ignoring me?" Whenever he tried to work on his goals, she'd say, "You're always busy. What about us?" Not because she needed love, but because she needed distraction to avoid herself. Every moment had to be filled with stimulation, loud music, drinking, talking, scrolling, posting, comparing, reacting. Her life had no inner world, and a woman with no inner world will drain your focus, disrupt your discipline, pull you away from your purpose, because she cannot sit still, and she cannot allow you to either. You see, a foolish woman views peace as emptiness. She views silence as rejection. She views stillness as unbearable. Why? Because silence forces a person to notice their emptiness, their insecurities, their unresolved issues, their lack of purpose. A wise woman works through those. A foolish woman avoids them and uses men to help her avoid them. And here's the brutal truth. If a woman cannot be alone, she cannot be loyal. Because loyalty requires patience, love requires stability. Connection requires presence. If she always needs new attention, new excitement, new stimulation, then the moment you stop being new, she'll look elsewhere. And men miss this sign because in the beginning, her endless energy feels like passion. Her intensity feels like love. Her clinginess feels like devotion. But later it becomes suffocating. Your goals start to feel like a burden to her. Your ambitions feel like a threat. Your self-improvement feels like abandonment. She will resent anything that takes your attention away from her, even if it improves your life. And that is the key. A foolish woman does not want a peaceful life. She wants a life that distracts her from herself. So the test is simple. Sit with her in silence. No music, no phone, no TV, no distractions. Just presence. Watch what happens. If she becomes nervous, restless, irritated, or starts looking for something to do, you are not with a woman who is ready to love. You are with a woman who is trying to escape herself. A wise woman can sit next to you in silence and feel connected. A foolish woman needs to fill silence to avoid collapsing. And that one sign alone can save a man years of wasted time. Sign 2, she talks but never listens. Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat across from someone who was speaking, but it felt like they weren't saying anything real? Words everywhere, volume everywhere, but no depth. A foolish woman lives in that space. She talks to fill silence, not to create connection. She talks because silence forces her to meet herself, and that terrifies her. She can talk for hours about who posted what on Instagram, who said what at a dinner party, which friend betrayed which friend, who texted her at 2 a.m., and what she felt in that exact moment. But the moment you speak, she interrupts, she redirects, she dismisses. She emotionally leaves the conversation. Because for her, conversations are mirrors for validation, not windows for understanding. She wants attention, not connection. And here's the deeper problem. A person who cannot listen cannot love, because love is active participation. Love requires presence. Love requires the ability to sit in silence with another soul and say, "I hear you. I understand you. You matter." A foolish woman does not have the emotional maturity to do that. Why? Because her world is dominated by her own identity story. She doesn't relate to learn. She relates to compete. Tell her you're tired. She will say she's more tired. Tell her you're stressed. She will tell you her stress is worse. Tell her something meaningful. She will turn the conversation back to herself within seconds, because she measures importance by who controls the spotlight. This is why Marcus Aurelius said, "The ability to listen is the beginning of wisdom." A wise woman asks questions. She remembers small details. She listens not just to reply, but to understand who you are. A foolish woman only waits for her turn to speak. Understand this clearly. A woman's ability to listen reveals the depth of her soul, because silence is not empty and silence is truth. If she cannot sit in silence with you, she will never sit in love with you. Sign 3, she cannot apologize. Let's talk about pride. Not strength, not self-respect, not dignity, I'm talking about fragile ego disguised as confidence. A foolish woman will never admit when she's wrong, not because she's right, but because she believes being wrong makes her unlovable. Her entire identity is built on the illusion. I'm always justified. So if she lies, she will twist the story. If she hurts you, she will claim you're too sensitive. If she crosses a boundary, she will blame your reaction, not her action. She believes accountability is humiliation. But let me tell you something. There is nothing more powerful, nothing more beautiful, nothing more rare than a woman who can say, I was wrong. I am sorry. I will grow. Because apology is not weakness. Apology is awareness. And awareness is where love begins. Let's expand the example. After Marcus walked away, Alyssa didn't feel guilt. She felt abandonment. Not because she loved him, but because she lost control. She didn't miss the relationship. She missed the power she had in it. Months later, when she said, "You'll never find someone like me again," she was right, because he found someone better. A wise woman understands something crucial. If she destroys peace, she must restore peace. If she wounds the heart, she must tend to the wound. This is partnership. This is love. This is maturity. A foolish woman cannot apologize because she cannot face the reality of herself. And a person who cannot face themselves can never truly love another. Sign 4. She wants the benefits of a relationship, without the responsibilities expanded. This sign is destroying modern relationships. We live in a world where many women have been taught, just exist and a man should give you everything. No discipline, no growth, no emotional maturity, no self-awareness, just desire. She wants your loyalty while she entertains options. She wants your protection while she disrespects your boundaries. She wants your devotion while she invests in nothing. She wants your future while she avoids improving her character. She wants to be cherished simply because she exists. But existence is not value. Value comes from how a person shows up in love. A foolish woman says, "Love me exactly as I am." A wise woman says, "I will grow beside you." A man must understand this deeply. You do not build a relationship on words, chemistry, attraction, or romance alone. You build it on shared values, shared discipline, shared direction, shared character. If she wants the title of your woman, but refuses the responsibility of being your partner, then she is not in love with you, she is in love with the idea of being chosen. And a woman who is in love with being chosen will never learn how to choose you back. Sign 5, she disrespects your purpose. Let me say this plainly. Your purpose is your life. Your mission is your spine. Your growth is your identity. You were not born to orbit a woman. You were born to build. A foolish woman sees your purpose as competition for attention. When you're working, she wants your time. When you're improving, she wants reassurance. When you're focused, she wants your distraction. Not because she loves you, but because she fears irrelevance. But here's the truth. A woman who loves you will guard your purpose like treasure. She will respect your silence. She will understand your grind. She will not take your ambition personally. Because she knows, when a man builds himself, he builds their life together. A foolish woman does not understand long-term investment. She only understands immediate emotional gratification, and that is why she loses men with destiny. Because destiny cannot be paused for insecurity. Your purpose is the flame. She is either the wind that makes it stronger, or the water that puts it out. A foolish woman pulls you away from yourself. A wise woman inspires you to become even more yourself. And that is the difference between love that grows and love that destroys. Conclusion, the Stoic truth. This is not about judging women. This is about recognizing patterns of emotional maturity. A beautiful face means nothing without emotional depth, listening ability, accountability, discipline, support, respect, wisdom. A wise woman multiplies your world. A foolish woman consumes it. And the greatest decision you will ever make as a man is this: who you allow to stand beside you. Choose with clarity. Choose with patience. Choose with your future in mind, not your loneliness. Because peace is rare, and once destroyed, it is hard to rebuild. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.